By now, it's clear Florida's education is getting a makeover, from curriculum to books and the people who preside over it. For Florida's conservative supermajority, it's a primary. For many who feel marginalized by those moves, it's a fear. And we're taking that to those who are actually there in the schools. Voices today from our next generation. Jayden Donfronio was president of Voters of Tomorrow and also worked for a number of state Democratic lawmakers. And Ian Lares-Chacín is president of the College Republicans at Florida International University. And it's really great to have you for our conversation because you are living it. And sometimes people read headlines and think, oh, this is terrible, or oh, this is amazing. And you're the guys there. So I want to start with, Ian, let's start with you, because when the laws were crafted last year, the first new education laws, you have parents' rights, the ones that people dub "Don't Say Gay," even though that's not what the bill said.
Yes.
And you had a new way an altered way of teaching race and history. Do you see any effects of those changes yet?
Not quite just yet, to be honest. There is still quite a bit of political bias, I would say, in the education system, at least for my political science majors.
Which way? When you say you think there's a political bias in the system, which
Yes.
which we hear as one of the underpinnings of the reasons for these new laws. So, Jayden, you are a liberal person working for Democrats, and do you see that bias?
I don't see any bias whatsoever from my perspective and really the rest of our generation's perspective in Florida, as we've seen.
Well, you're sitting next to somebody who doesn't think like you.
Not as a generation as a whole.
Which is so beautiful, because we can talk about this all, right?
It really is amazing.
Yeah.
And what we see, for example, on February 23rd, when we saw so many students across the state walk out, there is a massive disliking towards the governor's policies and trying to take out.
Which is exactly my question. The policies and what you see in the headlines, do you feel a change, or is it the perception and fear, which is very real for many, many people and very well placed? But is the change apparent in what you're learning right now? I mean, we're 6 months in.
Absolutely. We're seeing books about African American history ripped out of our libraries across the state. And the governor and school boards across the state are trying to propel this type of behavior, while most of our generation is vehemently against this, as we saw on February 23rd, as we saw with so many different protests across the state that continuously occur.
So, Ian, you saw the protests, you saw the
Yes.
walkouts, you're hearing, your colleague, your friend sitting next to you. I'm not sure I have seen titles of books ripped out of, use your words. I do know titles that were removed from schools based on a parent's challenge. What do you see when you hear books are being removed from schools? Is that okay with you?
Well, I guess it depends on the content of the books themselves. There are at least while I was in high school, there were quite a lot of books that I read that had a very clear left-leaning bias.
When you say, what do you mean by that, left-leaning bias? Like what, for example?
Well, they would, say that all the institutions in the United States were based on racism, and that it's still racist, and that people of color and that sort of thing still can't elevate their position in society and that sort of thing.
So you don't see racism as a teaching tool?
Well, it's not. Of course, I see it as a teaching tool, but not to the degree that it is being implemented to where everything is considered racist.
Do you so Jayden, when you hear that, what do you understand where that perspective comes from? Do you understand someone who says, well, what the law says is that teaching race shouldn't make someone feel uncomfortable? That's sort of the words out of the law. When you hear someone uncomfortable about that, what's your perspective?
It makes me happy, because that's where we are as a society. It's unfortunate that racism and slavery is such an important fabric of our society, because that is literally what the history of this country is based on. And in order for us to move forward as a society, we have to confront that. We have to move forward and acknowledge our past to make sure that we don't commit to that past once again.
But race and slavery and the history of the United States is actually part of the curriculum in Florida schools.
Correct, correct. But one of the biggest things we're seeing, as I mentioned before with books, is that pieces of books on African American history are being taken out of our classes based off of teacher challenges, based off of school boards, and we also saw our governor limit the implementation of AP African American studies in our classes across the state. And it was a terrific opportunity, especially as myself being a high school senior, for us to take these classes, to get credits, to understand history within our state and across our country, but instead we have a governor that doesn't believe in conservatism in the fact of a status quo, but rather taking us back 100 years and ignoring the history that we have.
So Ian, when you hear that, do you understand the fears that people who are opposed to what's happening, do you hear those fears of being erased?
Yes, I do understand it, but I just don't think a lot of people quite understand what's happening. Ron DeSantis, from what I'm understanding, generally just wants to take out the political bias and the political ideologies that are being taught at these schools, a lot of which is very biased toward the left.
Do you think a political bias or political ideology is an objective term or a subjective term? I mean, I'm going to guess if I asked you both, is X a political ideology or a fact, you probably would have two different answers.
Well, yeah, but it's because, both sides really aren't being seen. A lot of professors, at least in my university, especially for the political science majors, they are very politically biased toward the left. A lot of, my members at the College Republicans.
So how did you turn out so conservative if you've been taught by so many people with a left-leaning bias?
Well, because I started doing my own research, really.
Okay.
I grew up as a Democrat pretty much. I used to love Obama as a kid, but I never, I guess, really had very democratic values, and I kind of started to realize that as I started to do more of my own research and that sort of thing.
Do you ever think, Jayden, that you might do a lot of your own reading and become a different political animal?
I always try to remain open to everything, but when I have a governor and a party trying to eliminate African American history, I don't see myself switching towards any other side. It's unfortunate that we are in this time and place where we can outright just try and eliminate such an important fabric of our society.
I want to teach you both something right now. TV time is up, and we got to go. That's how fast it goes. You all are amazing, and I'm so glad that we get this, voice of people that are in the thick of it on the program. I hope you'll keep in touch.